Hi, this is Jason with 5 Letter Comics Collectibles coming at you with another toy review. This time we're taking a look at the Star Wars The Force Awakens Darth Vader from the Force Awakens toy line from Hasbro. So the first thing we're going to do is take a closer look at the packaging. Take a look at the packaging. We got another standard The Force Awakens packaging, so we got a really nice picture of Kylo Ren up top with the Star Wars logo, a really nice drawing of Darth Vader in the snow, and then we can see the bubble of Darth Vader, so we got a nice image of the figure, as well as his little gimmick combiner droid, and he actually comes with a Imperial miniature probe droid, which is kind of nice because a lot of these figures it seems like this stuff is just an extra gimmick and it doesn't really fit the figure, and this actually kind of goes along with the whole thing because this is actually the Darth Vader from The Empire Strikes Back. So assuming he's probably not going to be in the movie, they just released the Darth Vader for the toy line. You can see it's got the snow in the back, so it's probably the Empire Strikes Back, and when you actually flip it over, it actually tells you The Empire Strikes Back right here, and it's got a little picture that shows how you can combine the three different characters' things to make a bigger weapon or a droid. But pretty standard packaging on the back. I don't like the back at all. I think the front is much nicer. I think it just looks really nice. But one thing I do notice on this Vader, just from the package, he definitely looks very thin. Not as, I guess, nice as some of the other Vader figures that we've gotten in between, leading up to The Force Awakens. But let's get this guy opened up. Alright, so taking a look at the Darth Vader figure, kind of disappointed with this guy. There's so many cool things about this figure, and there's a couple duds, at least in my opinion. So I mean, the first main thing is there's actually only 5 points of articulation, which is pretty standard for the Force Awakens toy line. So he can turn at the head, it's not on a ball joint, and he can move his arms, and he can move his legs. That's about it. I think my biggest issue with this figure is it seems like the molding and the laziness. So with the Episode 3 Darth Vader, we got a nice cloak and an undercloak, which were all cloth. And on this guy, we do have a really beautiful cloak. I have to say, it's very nice, very large. It looks beautiful on this guy. The issue is with his inner cloak, it's actually just not, it's just molded. And he doesn't really just have regular legs. And I'll pull him off the stand. You'll see that his inner cloak is actually molded into his leg. And that's just really, really, really cheesy. They did this with the Kylo Ren figure, but I mean, it was just the way that they did that, and it works better with him, but this is kind of unacceptable. I was really hoping they could have just put some kind of cloth cape back here, especially, they've already done that with the Episode 3 figure. The other thing I was hoping is that you could actually take the cloak off, but with this guy, I pulled his head pretty hard. I couldn't pop it off. It doesn't seem like it's on a ball joint. It only turns left and right, so I wasn't going to really force it. So because of that, you can't take the cloak off. His left hand is at basically a pose where you really can't hold the lightsaber. It's just the way his hand is. It's almost like a grip like this, and it doesn't hold the saber. The lightsaber molding is really nice. Now the blades don't come off in these Force Awakens toy line, but I mean, as far as the paint on this lightsaber, it looks like Darth Vader's lightsaber. Looks great. He also comes with his little gimmick, which is a Imperial style probe droid. So it looks like this. It's basically just meant to stand, and his head actually rotates. So you can actually rotate this head, and it's got a nice gun on it. And these guys do combine, and you have to have the two other figures in the line to combine to make a bigger weapon or a droid. But kind of, you know, with these figures, it's a very cheap gimmick. Really not fond of this gimmick. But I mean, I guess some people might like it. I guess it gives something a little bit extra. I just wish they would have maybe on this guy done a little bit more. Also, he just seems to be a little bit more thinner of a figure, of the Darth Vader figure that we typically get. And it might just be the feeling because of that, the way it's molded. But very sad with this. But I mean, if this is your only Darth Vader figure, you know, it's not too bad. I just, you know, coming from the stuff we've had before, I think you know, you get something that has more cloth and more fullness to it with more articulation. I mean, you really can't, you know, compare it to this figure. I mean, it's just it's almost like a step back. And for size comparison, here we have him next to the Force Awakens Kylo Ren, so the same toy line, and Darth Vader is just a little bit bigger than Kylo Ren, just barely, and you know, they look great together. Like I said, this figure, it looks really, really nice. If it's your first Darth Vader, not bad at all. Not a bad choice to get this guy. You know, if you can't get something else. But I mean, coming from the toy lines that have come before, I just think that there's so many other Darth Vaders that are just much nicer. And I mean, there's some that with the cape they have like the chain that looks separate, and or in the inner cloak, and you know, more articulation. And I just feel that I wish, you know, maybe with this guy they would have maybe done something a little different, or maybe just put a little extra cloth in him to kind of give him that little extra oomph. Because I also feel a lot of people aren't going to buy this guy because this is probably the umpteenth Vader that they've gotten. So unless, you know, the newer generation of kids that don't have a Darth Vader toy, it really seems like those are the people that this, you know, are going to purchase this guy, as well as the people that are, you know, have to collect every single figure in the toy line. But I think a lot of this guy seem to have been left on the shelf quite a bit. Same thing for the Luke Skywalker guy. It's just they seem like they, you know, you've had too many of them. They've oversaturated, I guess, is a better term. But still a decent figure. I really like the paint apps. I think they did a good job on the collar. I mean, the gray really comes out compared to some of the other Darth Vaders. But you know, coming from what we had before to now, I think they took a step back. But once again, this has been Jason with Violet Comics Collectibles. Any questions or comments, leave in the comment section below. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and I'll see you guys next time.